1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So how much of your day would you say you spend communicating with people? And of that communication, how much of it is something other than face-to-face communication, like texting or using email or on Facebook? Well, according to a recent census by census.gov, nearly 74% of Americans communicate online, whether it be for work, school, or social interaction. That being said, many times our online communication can be easily misunderstood. For example, a recent survey titled Lost in Translation by psychologist Jay Kruger, relating to the interpretation of tone online, revealed that 78% of the time, the reader of whatever was being written would believe that they were correctly, the reader would correctly interpret the tone, but only 56% of them actually correctly interpreted the writer's tone. Yet 90% of those readers still believe that they did correctly interpret the writer's content, which leads to the purpose of the speech I'm giving you guys today, which is to inform you all about effective online communication by using proper tone and punctuation, being diverse with the many types of online communication, and the use of proper etiquette. We'll first take a look at how using proper tone can affect online communication. When a person uses descriptive words to set the mood, it has the ability to set the proper tone by conveying emotions that allows the reader to connect on a humanistic level despite an online presence. An example of this is a study called Putting Social Context into Text, the Semantics of Email Interaction, conducted by Professor Menket and Professor Tian with the University of Chicago. The study was performed by using a panel of contemporary social movements and activist experts. The study looked at replacing your normal occasional everyday business meetings with just using strictly email. And the panel members, with their experience, thought this would be an easy feat, but quickly encountered a set of frustrating problems early on in the study. With even despite having a face-to-face meeting, there was still vocabulary that was misunderstood, tone was unrecognized, and our intentions were obscured when emailing one another. But why, we might ask, did this happen? Well, the study concluded that everyone participating in the survey forgot how their tone may have been perceived when they were emailing one another. Phrases seemed inappropriate and non-productive. When emails were written, they oftentimes were too short, which seemed very pushy. The resolution, per the study, was for the writers to take more time and understand what their tone could be, what it would be like from the receiving end as far as the reader was, and how that could be perceived. Which brings us to another point that the study brought up, was about punctuation. Punctuation adds body to your writing, but few people think about how much emotion punctuation can actually bring to your writing, and it really can. When we think of dashes can add special emphasis to a thought and really encourage a focus for the reader to look at. Contractions are a little more informal, and they think that it's more for text messaging and kind of like casual emails, but that can be used to emphasize emotion. And ellipses show omission or hesitation from a writer, and parentheses can show a secondary thought to your reader, which can also help you become a better communicator. So now that we've discussed how tone and punctuation can affect online communication, we're going to move on to our next point, which is being familiar with the different or many forms of online communication or discussions. So being familiar with PowerPoint is really important. By using visual aids rather than just text, the writer can convey more emphasis than just the written word. PowerPoint software can transform simple words on a single slide into a captivating, dynamic presentation. using engaging strategies such as PowerPoint presentations. One can combat boring presentations and really get the audience to be interactive and involved in the discussion, the online discussion. Another medium that can help a person become a more effective online communicator is the use of discussion boards. Discussion boards allow for feedback from the reader as well as the writer for verification and confirmation that they are understanding of what's being communicated to them. For example, the SPC discussion boards in our course content, it allows for comprehension and communication between the peers and the professors, and allows for just continued grasp of the subject and what's being discussed to them. But it is important to remember that all parties should be cautious of misinterpretation while posting on discussion boards. Communication should remain short and directly to the point, and discussions should just to avoid any misunderstanding with the discussions. Now, with the topics of tone and punctuation and being familiar with the different forms of online communication being covered, we're going to go on to our final topic, which is about having proper online etiquette. Now, communication online has led to internet users becoming wary of how they're perceived online. Online etiquette has been established to help us avoid miscommunication that would otherwise be perceived as disrespect or discontentment. In the early days of the internet, an occasional sarcastic or confrontational remark was considered part of its charm, but we as internet users today understand the importance of proper etiquette, and in order to continue that, we need to have a further grasp of it. Etiquette online, they say, isn't just nice to have, it's necessary. And this is from a writer known as Joanne Pierce. She's from ACM Magazine. And what she referred it to is it's like pioneers of the Wild West. Early internet days were rough. They were, people were really aggressive on there, which was part of the appeal. But times have changed, and today's internet users flock in the millions. Internet users come from many different walks of life, and they arrive with a mixed arrays of expectations of what they should be seeing online. These users include children, adults, healthy, the sick, the eager, and the reluctant. And acknowledgement for these different, how diverse it is important to acknowledge and deserves respect. That being said, she has a few tips to achieve proper etiquette and when dealing online. She starts with, before pressing the send button, always remember to review your message for proper spelling or punctuation and grammar. She also says to be careful about misspelling words or being careless with your words, as this conveys an unprofessional image. And lastly, she says to keep your emails and your messages or online discussions just very concise and to the point. So in conclusion, I would like to quickly recap the three main points that we've talked about today, and to make a person a better interpersonal communicator online. And they are using effective communication skills based on tone and punctuation, broadening your online communication with the different diverse forms other than the typed word, and using proper online etiquette. With 74% of Americans communicating more and more online, though, more through virtual text, it's imperative that proper communication is continued despite the lack of physical connection we're losing by one another by being online. Any questions?